Hi guys, this is Lav Kumar, the author of IronWASP. The newest version of IronWASP has support for testing WebSocket messages and WebSocket implementations. So in this video, I'm going to explain how you can use IronWASP to test WebSocket implementations. Now, in order to help us explain this particular functionality better, what I've done is I've created a demo application. Now this demo application comes along with the newer version of IronWASP, and so this by default opens a web server on port 9090, and it opens a WebSocket listener on port 9091. Now I'll open Firefox, and Firefox is configured to use IronWASP as the proxy in this case. So I'll browse to localhost 9090 on which the demo application is listening. Okay, so I go to the home page, I see a list of products. I'll click on one of these products. It gives me product information. I'll come back. I'll click on another product. I'll click on some more. Okay, so I'm just trying to browse around the site, generate some traffic here. Alright, so I think I've clicked on at least 4 or 5 products. So at this point, if you look at the HTTP logs, we should be at least looking at 4 to or at least 5 to 6 different HTTP logs. But when we go here, what we actually see is a single HTTP log. Now this is because most of the communication actually happens over WebSocket. So if you look at the source code of this application, then you can actually see that it opens a WebSocket message, WebSocket connection, and does a lot of communication over WebSockets. So in this case, when we go to the log section of IronWASP, go to other logs, and click on WebSocket, we can see a lot of messages here. Now I'll select one of them. Now these are the HTTP headers associated with the WebSocket message, and this is the actual WebSocket message itself. This is the data that was sent from the browser through JavaScript, and this is the WebSocket message that came from the server to the browser. So there are a lot of messages here. Looking at each and every single message from this interface, it is actually a very cumbersome way of doing this, because typically when we look at WebSocket installations or implementations, we would be talking about like hundreds or thousands of messages. So analyzing them like this is fairly complicated. So what I've done is try to make this process simple through WebSocket message extractor. So if we go to WebSocket message extractor and say start analysis, so what this does is it goes over it goes through all the logs, and then it tries to present these WebSocket messages in the format which is actually very easy to analyze. So I'll copy the location of the file from the WebSocket message analyzer, and I will load it in my browser. So here you can see the results of the WebSocket message analysis, and we can see that there is one session listed. If the HTTP logs contain more than one WebSocket session, then we'll have more than one entries here. So this confirms that there was only one WebSocket session in the logs in this particular case. So these are the messages which are from this WebSocket session. So you can see that there are messages in 2 colors. These are the messages which were sent by the browser to the server, and these are the messages which were sent by the server to the browser. Okay, and so let's try and analyze the messages which are available here. So the first one is CMD start session. Let's make a note of that. Let's first try to make a note of the messages which were sent by the browser to the server. So this is one message, and this is another message. Okay. And this is one more message. So there are more messages, we'll go to them, but let's look at these first. So in all these three messages, we can actually see a pattern, which is there's one property called command, which has which has a command name, and then these two actually have a property called session ID, and then they have a session ID value inside it. So if you look at the first one, which is CMD start session, now as soon as this message was sent, the server sent another message uh, to the browser, and this one looks a little different. It does not have a command, but it instead has a code, and it says session started. So the browser was asking to basically it was issuing the start session command, and then the server says the session has been started, and it's issuing the session ID in this case. And then we have the keep alive message that is sent, and then the get products message. Now, if you look at the messages from the server, you have a message called kept alive, which is probably in response to the keep alive message sent by the browser. And then we have this fairly long or rather big message, which contains the name of all the products. Let's look at that. So this has a code which says take products. So this is probably in response to this message which was sent by the browser, which is command get products, and then the server says take products, and it gives us the list of products. Okay. Now, if we go down a little further, we're seeing these keep alive and kept alive messages. So keep alive, kept alive, keep alive, kept alive. So there seem to be a lot of these keep alive, kept alive messages. So they are probably some kind of a heartbeat between the browser and the server. So to clean things up a little, what we can actually do is we can hide these messages. So I'll say hide keep alive, and now all messages which had the string keep alive will be hidden, and I'll also say hide kept alive, and all the kept alive messages are hidden. So what we are left with now is messages of other kind, anything other than the heartbeat message. So okay, so we've already seen start session, get products, and then we are now looking at another message called get product, and this one has a, let me paste it here. Now get product has a session ID, and then it has the product ID as well. And then the server sends a message called take product, and this message has information about the selected product with the ID 1001. So it's a fairly simple and straightforward implementation. So the browser sends a JSON message which has a command, and then the server sends another JSON message which has probably the results of that particular command. So this is what we have in this particular WebSocket implementation.